There's been testimony that if this trial, and I'm not saying the court would allow it, but if it doesn't take place for a year, there'd be over $1 million in expenses just for 24-hour security of off-duty police officers' second jobs to ensure Mr. Williams does not flee, does not get types of weapons, does not intimidate a witness, is not a danger to community or property in the community. Can he afford, from your personal knowledge and how much money he earns, can he afford that type of undertaking?
Jeffrey can afford it, and I can afford it, so it will be paid for.
And you are willing to back him as well?
I'm willing to back him personally and professionally. Do you believe this whole thing that people are talking about? It's not him. The Jeffrey I know, the Jeffrey I know give me clothes off his back. The Jeffrey I know, I can give him my kids, he can give me his kids. That's the Jeffrey I know.
You mentioned lyrics. There's been a lot of argument.
Excuse me, Your Honor. May I use the restroom, or I need to be here? I've been holding it for a long time.
It's not funny. Y'all be at ease. Yes, sir. In fact, I'll just take 5 minutes and you can go ahead and everybody can. You come back, okay? All right.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Brian. Oh, yeah.
Tonight, another arrest of a man named in a sweeping racketeering conspiracy indictment that led to the arrest of rapper Young Thug. Only Channel 2 Action News talked to the rapper's former road manager before he surrendered, and he talked exclusively with Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie. Mark with us live in downtown Atlanta. So, Mark, he told you he's had no contact with Young Thug or the YSL in recent months.
Yeah, the indictment says or suggests that YSL is a criminal street gang that claims affiliation with the National Bloods gang, and that Walter Murphy, along with Young Thug and a third person, were YSL founders. The Fulton County DA's office says that's one reason Murphy needs to be held accountable, along with shootings and more. But now, hear from Walter Murphy. What are you about to do?
Right after this interview, I'm about to go in the courthouse and turn myself in.
His lawyer, Jacoby Hudson, says just as Walter Murphy carries a YSL tattoo on his forehead from his past has landed him in a high-profile racketeering conspiracy indictment, putting his future in jeopardy. The indictment he surrendered on at the Fulton County Courthouse.
I intend on proving everyone his innocence.
You're facing a tough challenge now. How are you going to get through that?
The same way I got through everything else, with God and my faith.
Murphy is charged along with more than 24 others in a sprawling indictment alleging a criminal street gang called YSL.
I would rather say it was more like a record label or a family. Once upon a time, I was actually a road manager on that label.
An indictment that's attracted attention in part because of the gang and RICO conspiracy charges against famous rapper Jeffrey Williams, a.k.a. Young Thug.
Without question or hesitation, Mr. Williams committed no crime whatsoever.
Since you've been out of prison, have you had any contact with Young Thug or any other alleged members of YSL?
No.
Murphy is charged in one RICO conspiracy count, but as part of that charge, it alleges acts by Murphy, including an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on or about September 11th, 2013, and attempted murder involving 4 different victims on or about April 12th, 2015. Hudson says Murphy had been charged in those incidents years ago, and he pled guilty in what's known as an Alford plea, basically to reduce charges, and until his surrender, had been out on parole since early this year.
I spent 7 years in prison. While I was in prison, I stayed out the way, and I just got my GED, completed all my classes, completed the transition center. I transitioned back into the world. I got me a job at the transition center.
He paid his debt to society.
Hudson says Murphy had been working until last week. The lawyer says in 2015, a prosecutor tried to get his client to cooperate against alleged YSL members, but he wasn't interested.
I did my time like a man.
Hudson says DA Fonnie Willis has mentored him since he was a young prosecutor.
She's my big sister, and I love her a lot.
And he's going to plead Murphy's cause to her, but he knows he's fighting an uptick in crime.
I just want the younger kids to know no matter what you did, whatever you think you're a part of, you're bigger than that, and you can overcome it.
Were you a founder of YSL?
No comment.
Now, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office says the racketeering conspiracy count in the indictment does charged. Some suspects with individual acts they've had to answer for before, but that part of the purpose is to hold people responsible collectively for an alleged criminal organization that has wreaked havoc on the streets. Reporting live in downtown Atlanta, Mark Winnie, Channel 2 Action News.